Howdy everyone, it's Sam. Hope you're doing really well. If you're new around here, I hope I can get you to consider liking the content and subscribing to the channel. And if you are a regular around these here parts, thank you very much for the continuous support. Tonight, North Queensland Cowboys were their own worst enemy. And they weren't going to get any help from the touchies. They weren't going to get any help from the referees either. Very frustrating performance tonight. 20 points to 10 going down to the South Sydney Rabbitohs. In unfortunately below average contest between two sides who we all hyped up were basically playing a semi-final preview game, and there was a lot of drop ball. Both sides were well below their best, and they won't be pleased with their performances. Cowboys, their discipline, their ball handling, in particularly in that first half, was not what they have produced over recent weeks or up to the standard that they've set themselves this year. And then we had to rely upon, they had to rely upon their second half efforts that have kept them in more games than not throughout 2022. And they fixed up their discipline. They weren't too bad for about 30 minutes of that second half. And I thought that their defense was much improved in that second half as well. But the fatigue and just the overwhelming weight of pressure told on the Cowboys in the end. So I got some notes here. I'm pretty devastated, dudes. I'm pretty devastated about that. So in the first half, the Cowboys kicked off, and what I saw instantly was that South Sydney, who received the ball first, made way too many meters off of their first set, but they completed their set. Cowboys defended, and then the Cowboys' very first touch of the ball was through Kyle Felt, and Kyle Felt knocked the ball on. And effectively, by and large, whether he would like to admit it or not, that play from Kyle Felt, that error from Mr. Felt, set the tone for the rest of the evening, unfortunately, for the Cowboys. But to their credit, they didn't concede a try. There was a moment, only a few moments later, in the fourth minute, where the Cowboys, they got the ball back, they defended the error, got the ball back, kicked it downfield, and it was deemed that I nearly said AJ Styles, Alex Johnston got his foot back into the in-goal area for quick tap, 7 tackles set for South Sydney in the fourth minute of play. I disagreed with that. I don't know how anyone could have told that he got his foot back on the line when the referees were a fair distance away. I don't know how that was deemed, but anyway, it didn't cost us in the end though. Then the 6th minute, again, the Rabbitohs just made 100 meters, end-to-end stuff. The Cowboys weren't stopping the running meter game of South Sydney and their ball play as well, and that was the main concern coming into the game. And they weren't halting South Sydney's momentum. And then in the 6th minute, there was a penalty goal. Scott Drinkwater stripped the ball. I think it was on Cameron Murray, and then South Sydney went up 2-0. And then from the kick restart, Valentine Holmes kicked it out on the full. And you thought, oh my God. But to the Cowboys' credit, they defended once more, or they defended to a point where South Sydney made an error. And then Scott Drinkwater, man, if you recall last week against the New Zealand Warriors, he did a flick pass to Valentine Holmes. And Valentine Holmes then sprinted upfield, passed it out to Tom Dearden off to Hiku. It was one of the team tries of the year. Scott Drinkwater did it again in the 10th minute, but this time it was for Hamiso Tabuai-Fidow. Hammer sprinted about 20 or 30 meters upfield, passed it back on the outside to Murray Taulagi, and it was actually the Cowboys that scored the first try of the contest in the 10th minute. Murray Taulagi scoring an excellent try, and couldn't contain myself. I screamed, "He did it again!" Scott Drinkwater getting that offload off to Hamiso Tabuai-Fidow, and then it was 6 points to 2. It was a really good try. And then In the 13th minute, there was a bat back from Cohen Hess that stopped South Sydney's momentum. In the 16th minute, Cody Walker earned a repeat set, and that led to a Keon Kolamatangi try. Basically, in my opinion, Hamaso Tabuai-Fidow and Luciano Leilua had a miscommunication because they were occupied with Latrell Mitchell floating out the back, and it was just a nice pass. I think it was from Cameron Murray. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think I'm wrong, but in any event, it was Kalamatangi that broke up the middle between Leilua and Hammer because they were too worried about Latrell Mitchell. And Kalamatangi said, "Thank you very much," and he just busted up the guts of him, thus putting the South Sydney Rabbitohs up 8 points to 6 after 18 minutes. There was a moment that I thought the Cowboys didn't capitalise on. It was in the 21st minute, and Chad Townsend put a fourth tackle kick in into the South Sydney's in-goal area. There was a good chase, and it's exactly what was required. Latrell Mitchell had to sprint to the ball. He was way away from it. And then there was a penalty given away from Ruben Cotter. He was only on the field for about 2 seconds there. And then it was compounded by a penalty by Chad Townsend. And I just thought that was a real moment where we could have swung momentum back, and we didn't. They were their own worst enemy. I keep saying we, it's they, because I ain't bloody part of it. So there was a moment there where we really could have gained some momentum, but we didn't. Then there were just a couple of moments that just didn't go the Cowboys' way. Not that it cost us anything, but it just, the flow of the game. It was in Sydney. Cowboys weren't going to get many calls go their way. In the 27th minute, though, there was another period where I thought we could have capitalized on and got some momentum. We defended really intensely. We kept the South Sydney Rabbitohs inside their own 10-meter line for 4 tackles or so. And then the very next set or so, there was some ill discipline, some penalties were given away, and it just, all that good work, they didn't reward themselves for the really intense defense that they showed that they can produce. So that was really disappointing. And then in the 31st minute, just too many ill-disciplined moments led to Alex Johnston scoring the next try. It was I think it was Latrell Mitchell that had the final pass, and it's just too much pressure that they put on themselves tonight, man. The North Queensland Cowboys, and the halftime score was 14 points to 6. And in that first half, I'd suggest that Taumalolo, Leilua, and Drinkwater were the 3 best players for the Cowboys at that time. Just before I go on, I want to just go into the chat and say hello to everyone. Ryan or Patty J, hey, I really hope I'm wrong, but it just feels like it's Penrith by far. I can't see anyone beating them in the finals. Ryan Jones, I should say, mate, I've got Dragons 13 plus and 1 to 12 either way on Titans game, or cash for 200 first time meeting over 6 legs. Would you ride that or cash him? Would I ride Dragons 13 plus? I'd take, and 1 to 12 either way on the Titans. I think that's safe. I got this sneaky feeling that the Titans usually put a fairly large score on the Newcastle Knights, but over the past couple of seasons. But yeah, I'd probably go 1 to 12, but don't be surprised if it's 13 plus victory for Titans over 6 league or cash for 200 first time. Ride it, bro. Ryan Jones, I'd probably ride it. Thanks for the question, bro. Smash that like button, says Patty G. Sinbin thoughts, bro. Well, there's not really much to report up until the last final 10 minutes, is there, Patty? So I've almost got nothing written down in the second half because it was a dour, defensive-minded second half game. Like, I've got Kyle Felt produced an error in the 46th minute, and then 69th minute, Kyle Felt put in a great individual try, man. Like, there's still some bright spots in this very disappointing performance, but Kyle Felt on the very last tackle He received the ball from Scott Drinkwater way out wide. He kicked the ball for himself from 15 meters out from South Sydney's try line. Just beat Alex Johnson, beat Latrell Mitchell, and it got to about the 10-meter line, and Kyle Felt just needed to just barely kiss that ball into the try line area, and he did that, and he scored a try for himself. It was one of the great solo tries for 2022, man. And that got the Cowboys in at 14 points to 10 with 10 minutes to go. There was an opportunity the Cowboys had a couple of minutes later for it was a moment on the third tackle where Luciano Leilua had the ball and he just Hail Married it out the back to no one. And Greg Alexander and Andrew Voss were saying, Hammer's missed his assignment. And on first glance, I need to watch it again. But just on initial reaction, it did look like that Hammer was out of position, and he wasn't quick enough or good enough to be in a position, because if he was there, I think they do crash over, man. But then, literally 2 seconds later, after that near try for the Cowboys, Cohen Hess sprints up out of the line, and I think upon initial reaction, I hope I'm wrong, Cohen Hess's point of the shoulder cops Campbell Graham in the chin, and Skittles went everywhere, and Gerard Sutton had no choice but to send Cohen Hess to the sin bin. And let me tell you something, Cohen Hess had only hit the ball up 2 or 3 times up until that point in the 72nd minute. And he put in the game-changing penalty hit on Campbell Graham, and he got sent for 10. 3 hit-ups. Sure, his defense could have been all right. I don't have the statistics in front of me. But that's the second time in 3 weeks where Cohen Hess has run well below average. And he is a massive contributor to the reason why we lost tonight, or they lost tonight. I've just got a question from Paddy G. Paddy G, as a Cowboys fan, would you rest players next week and aim for second, or just take precautions? Well, just before I answer your question, Paddy, mate, and I really do appreciate it, just before I answer your question, it then got to a stage where South Sydney put in a final tackle kick, and Kyle Felt shouldered Alex Johnston out of the way. It was a professional foul, and the Cowboys finished the game with only 11 people on the field. And Kyle Felt, as I said at the start, he set the tone for the Cowboys' ill-disciplined ways against the South Sydney Rabbitohs tonight. And it ended with him being sin-binned and the Cowboys down to 11 men. And then, look, honestly, naturally, the team with 13 men scored the try. It was Thomas Burgess that just went straight up the middle. I think it was Leilua and Granville. I think maybe Robson was in there, but Robson tackled himself to a standstill. Luciano Leilua played the full 80 minutes, and they just couldn't contain Thomas Burgess, who was on and off the bench and was fresh after not playing for 4 weeks or so. And so therefore the final scoreline was 20 points to 10. Really frustrating performance. I think they did show, I think the bright spot for the Cowboys tonight is that they did show that their defense, in particularly in that second half, but as an overall package, the Cowboys' defense this year is what will have them win a finals match. I'm very confident about that. I think the Cowboys' defense is for real, but it just seemed like if you can catch them on an off night, or if you can get up in their face enough, you can discombobulate the North Queensland Cowboys attack. So to answer your question finally, Paddy, this is why I'm so gutted. Cowboys, North Queensland Cowboys, by and large, after that performance, have cost themselves a home qualifying final for the first time in club history. And the Cowboys have been second for 6 or 7 weeks now, and it's just dropped out of our hands at the final hurdle. It was a nervous, tense performance. It was ever riddled, and I'm gutted for them. I'm gutted as a member. I'm gutted for everyone that supports the Cowboys because they've dropped the opportunity to finish second, because I do not see Cronulla Sutherland Sharks losing next week in Newcastle. And whether or not Cowboys win against Penrith next week, it won't matter. So at the moment, it looks like North Queensland are going to play Sharks, or they're going to play Penrith in Sydney. That's a tall order, dude. But it's gutting. It's gutting. We've been second. They've been second for so long now, and it's just dropped right at the final hurdle, man. Egad. So far as resting players next week against Penrith, well, Penrith are resting half their squad, and I mean, you look at people like Chad Townsend, Jason Taumalolo, maybe a Murray Taulagi who could do with a freshen up. If you rest a quarter, if not half of the squad next week in that game against Penrith, and let's say Penrith lose. Let me rephrase that. Say if Cowboys lose next week, you have Cowboys come back in, you have Penrith come back in, and you have yourselves an absolute mega matchup between two full-strength sides in Penrith versus North Queensland. We can't get second position, and I just don't think it matters now. I just don't think it matters now whether we finish third or fourth. We're playing in Sydney. Let's just take in a deep breath, rest some players, do the right thing, and rest some players, and roll the dice and see where we land. We're going to play in Cronulla, or are we going to play in Penrith? I don't think it's going to be Melbourne. I just think there's just too many leapfrogging, or there's just it's like an odd number meeting an even number. I just don't think we're going to play Melbourne in week one. So to answer your question, I know that was a long-winded answer. I'm going to give the Cowboys the rest next Saturday night. And Paddy's asking, do you think the Cowboys are suffering from post-origin fatigue? I do think they were. I think they were suffering from post-origin fatigue, Paddy. I don't think Murray Taulagi has been the same since State of Origin. He's scored a try or two. He scored one tonight. I just don't think he's been the same since State of Origin. I think he's had a belting in confidence since State of Origin Game 3. Just want to say hello to Miss Jacqueline Dixon. Crappy game, silly plays. Yeah, man. Thank you very much for tuning in. And yeah, we'll be back. Just gutting. I'm just absolutely gutted right now. It's been in second spot for so long, and to drop it in the way that we did, considering how close we were to attaining second spot for the first time in club history, it's gutting, man. They were their own worst enemies tonight, bro. And again, I got to ask some questions of Cohen Hess, who I know I appreciate and I acknowledge that the Cowboys did more defense than they were on the attack, and they certainly dropped more ball. That probably didn't help matters for some players to get their hands on the pill as much as what they would have liked. But Cohen Hess is a leader, a veteran of that group. He was the Cowboys Player of the Year last year. And for the second time in 3 weeks, he has produced really poor numbers. That's, again, it's about three hit-ups for 30 meters in the entire game up until the 72nd minute. And then Cohen Hess puts the point of his shoulder into Campbell Graham's chin, and then he gets sent to the sin bin. And there's another question as well that I've got on Hammer Sotabuai-Fidow. Hammer had 1 or 2 hit-ups himself throughout the entire 80 minutes. Now, I liked some of his defense. He was responsible for one of the South Sydney's tries, but besides that, there were a few good cutting tackles from the Hammer in this game. But in attack, man, he looks so lost. And I know he's very young. He's extremely talented. But maybe it was a bit too much tinkering from Todd Payton in the end to have Hammer at fullback, have Scott Drinkwater in 5'8", and then switch things up right at the final whistle. Now, that's something that they may have planned. But for Hammer to be defending in between Taulagi, Holmes, himself, and Leilua, that's a really odd spot for Hamiso Tabuai-Fidow to be in at the end of the day. And he got found out, unfortunately, by Koala Matangi. And I got to say as well, Damien Cook didn't play in this game. Thank goodness he didn't. I hope he has a speedy recovery from COVID. But imagine if he did play in this game. We're talking about a 13-plus points victory potentially, because I think Cook has been South Sydney's best or top 3 best all season in a season that I just can't wrangle. I can't wrangle the South Sydney Rabbitohs, man. I feel like I'm just starting to let things slip on the North Queensland Cowboys as well, man. It's our starts. Got to start a lot better, man. Like even last week, I think it took them 10 minutes to get on the board. Might need correcting, but it took them a while to get on the board, man. So I think from here on out, we've really got to focus on our starts. Our attack, it did look good in stages. It's just the polish and the execution is just not there. Hopefully we can make sure that it sticks come finals time. And defense, look, man, 20 points to 10. You've got to be happy with the defense. You've got to be proud of their efforts in defense, man. Especially keeping it to 14, keeping South Sydney to 14 points for so long when the South Sydney Rabbitohs had the pill for ages, man. For freaking ages. So just going again, who we forgot here? And Mr. Harry G, would Dearden and Dare have helped tonight? Mate, Harry G, thank you very much, mate, because I thought, is there something else that I'm forgetting to mention here? And you've come in and saved me bacon, mate. Didn't we miss Tom Dearden tonight? We could have used one of his just scything runs. We could have used some of his passion, some of his we just could have used some Tom Dearden, mate. And look, if he's right to go next week, I still wouldn't play him. I'd still give him the week out, but I don't think he would back up anyway. But yeah, we absolutely missed Tom Dearden tonight. Just his just straight directness, man. We missed his go forward, bro. As a half. PG says, had I Sam, if I said you would be gutted about missing second and finishing third, it would be a dream. If I said you would be gutted about missing second and finishing third. Yeah, I know. It's tough. It's tough. I know. But no, it would have meant a lot. Cowboys have never finished in second spot before, and it would have meant a lot. But it's not going to happen now, and it sucks. It really sucks. And I said that to Mr. CJ Moxley on the preview as well, man. Because I just don't see Sharks going to Newcastle and losing, even if Sharkies have a couple out rested, like Nico Hines, for example. I just think Knights are in such a rabble at the moment. They couldn't tie their own shoelaces, you know? And also, but after such a phenomenal season, I get it. I would be the same. Yeah, dude. Yeah, for sure, man. Cowboys still play top 4 footy. We're going to be in a qualifying final. It's not going to be against Melbourne, but the boys are going to have to travel back down to Sydney in 2 weeks' time. And it's going to be against the Sharks at either Shark Park or Allianz Stadium, or it's going to be against Penrith at Bluebet Stadium. Bloody double-edged sword, that one. Anyway, guys, thank you for just letting me rabble on and just letting me unload on you. So that's the final result for the Cowboys. Top 2 dreams are dashed. Home qualifying final is dashed. If Newcastle Knights produce the victory against Cronulla next week and Cowboys win against Penrith, I'll do a nutty run. I'll take off me kit and I'll bloody run down the street in the Starkers waving that bloody cowbell in me hands. That's what I'll do. If that's how it goes down next weekend, that's what I'll do. 20 points to 10. Cowboys finished with 11 men with 2 in the sin bin, i.e. Kyle Felt and Cohen Hess. And thank you, Jack O'Hare. Thank you very much. Keep smiling. Sammy, lad, where there is life, there is hope, bro. For sure, man. For sure. Yeah. Boys will bounce back. They have to bounce back. They were their own worst enemies tonight. That can be better. They will be better. Bring on Penrith Panthers next week. And I can confirm to you guys that usually I do a Cowboys, Panthers, or a Cowboys versus XXX live match preview with a guest, or I just do it alone on my NRL tipping show. I can reveal to you now, and I'll make this more public via a community post, that I'm going to be joining Jack, Martin, and Natalie Sinclair of the Big Cat Chat podcast. I'm going to be joining them on their podcast next week. So please go and subscribe to them. Not on YouTube. You can find them on the Best Friends Sporting Network via Spotify or Apple. I'm going to be doing a podcast with them next week to preview Cowboys versus Panthers. It's a sort of role reversal game since I hosted them earlier on in the year, and they've been so lovely, and they've been so nice to offer me a path onto their show. So I will be previewing Cowboys Panthers on the Big Cat Chat podcast with Jack and Natalie, and I cannot wait. I just think those two are awesome, and I'm really, really humbled, and I'm really, really lucky to have been asked by them. So anyways, guys, again, thank you for letting me wobble my jaw, and I'll talk to you guys later. Adios. Fuck.